one of the 5 majors in women's golf, the KPMG Women's PGA at Congressional. First time we've seen Congressional since Rory McIlroy's boat race in the U.S. Open in 2011, I think. Gee Chun wins, if anyone's ever heard of Gee Chun. She wins at 5 under. You know, I could say a bunch of names. I'm sure majority of the listeners won't know, but Lexi Thompson's kind of the big name in women's golf, or one of the big American name. Gee Chun won her 3rd major, came out to an 8 under first round. Like, actually, like, went off. Like, that round was incredible based on everything I've heard from how long the course was playing and everything.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's funny to, we were just talking about course length. Like, I believe the women were playing from 6,800 yards as well on that Thursday round.
Another podcast said it was playing 6,800 yards, felt as if it was playing 7,200 because it was kind of wet.
Yep.
And then, like, if you equate that to, like, how far women hit the ball compared to men, that'd be like men playing 8,600 yards.
Jesus.
And she went and shot 64. Like, which, I think when it's ton of fun watching the women play is when you get to see a lot of their skills and, like, they're hitting shots that, like, you and I can kind of relate to a little more.
Yeah.
So a little too far, but, like, either way, that 64 was insane. She was 64-69, has a huge lead in Gee Chun.
That's literally the perfect round. I don't know. Like, I don't think anyone else could have played a better round. Like, that's a perfect round of golf. Yeah.
So she's 11 under, though, going into the weekend. Shoots 75-75 on the weekend to win by 1.
Yeah.
And she was actually got down to 4 under and made a birdie coming in. But she wins by 1 over Minjee Lee and Lexi Thompson. And if anyone knows Lexi Thompson's stories in majors, she's played in 50 of them. She's 27 years old. She's played in 50 majors. Like, she's been within the women's game of golf since she's been like 14 years old. She's been a notable name. Kind of was on like the Michelle Wee track, if anyone remembers that name. Like, she's been there. She's only won 1 major. But I think it was last year she had a 5-shot lead on the back 9 of another major
at the U.S. Open
and collapsed. Yeah. Didn't win. This one, obviously, she makes a birdie after missing like a 2-foot putt on 15. She birdied 16. Or excuse me, she missed a 2-foot putt on 14, birdied 15, which was like one of the hardest holes. So she's 6 under. The next ones are 4 under. She bogeys 16 and 17 to end up losing by 1. She got close on 18, but it's like, there is so much scar tissue with her right now. And again, it's another story of just like, it is so freaking hard to go and win and do something you like accomplish, whether it's a personal goal.
I mean, she has scar tissue in the absolute worst possible
part of the game too.
Yeah, like it's not on her driver, it's not on her irons, it's not on her wedges, it's not even on her putting outside of 10 feet. She cannot make a 4 to 8 footer if her life depended on it in a situation of when it matters.
Well, it's even like, not even, it's like 2 feet.
Yeah.
Like she gets the yips.
She had what? I think 2 putts that from inside of 4 feet that did not even hit the hole.
Mm-hmm. I can relate.
And I mean, it was missed considerably.
Yeah. Like she's not even lipping putts for like Prodigy. Like she doesn't hit the hole, so she can't lip the putt.
To me, like if I was her, in those situations, I would walk up and like, you know how like you walk up sometimes when like someone says like, oh, that's good. And you walk up and like, you just whack the ball
like
as
off
you're
balance.
going. Yeah. Like you just walk by, and I would do that if I was her at this point.
Yeah. Look, I don't know if you don't come out and say you have the yips if you have the yips, but like I hate how she puts with a glove on. Like just take it fucking off. It's not working. But like I had the yips in college. It's a miserable thing to deal with because it puts so much pressure on every other aspect of your game because you're like, fuck, for me to make par, I have to hit it to 15 feet because there's still a 20% chance I 3-putt from 15 feet.
Yeah.
I've done some crazy things. I close my eyes on putts inside 6 feet. Still to this day, I've gotten over it, but there's times if I putt poorly, I close my eyes because it's just complete feel then.
Yeah.
Wow. So I close my eyes. I've done rounds where I've done 3 different grips between claw, cross, and normal just because you have to find something that's comfortable. But I'm totally with you. Like, it's 2 feet. You're missing a lot of these 2-footers. At some point, just walk up and hit it. It's not going to get any worse.
Yeah, I mean, or even like, I've putted sometimes, like, I've putted better with a wedge in my hand. Like, we just kind of like...
Take a 3-wood.
I would go to drastic measures at this point in time. And like, unfortunately for her, the broadcast, that's all they were talking about too. Like down the stretch was like, all right, like, yeah, like we know she's going to hit a good drive. Yeah. We know she's going to hit a good, like they knew she was going to hit good shots. but like you got her to like that range of like 4 to 5 feet, or even like you said, 2.5 feet. Like it was no guarantee, which is insane to say for a professional player.
Mm-hmm. No, and I mean, she hits the ball like as good as the men do, like from a distance, like not the top echelon of the men, but she hits it fucking far.
Outside of her putting, she's almost a perfect player.
Yeah, but it's like, and she practices all the time. But again, it's just like, there's books on it, and there's a great Real Sports with Brian Gumbel. If anyone has HBO, they can go watch on the yips, and it was with a pitcher. I don't know the name of the pitcher, but he had issues throwing the ball to first base, like trying to pick guys off. So guys would take massive
John
lead
Lester.
Thank you. And like you could lead off. I mean, it was like imperative. There is something wrong, and I did a lot of reading because of from Dr. Bob Rotella, the putting expert, because I had this in college. I went to the belly putter. I did all those things. Your yips are literally, there's so much stress and pressure you're putting on yourself subconsciously that you lose consciousness for like a split second. And the yip is you like regaining it and basically like waking up from, I mean, again, it is like a millisecond or 2 milliseconds. And that's what causes the jerk. Like, because you're that like there's so much pressure that you like lose oxygen and actually pass out for a half a second, or not even a half second, less than that. Like that is what it is. So whether or not she actually has the yips,
wow.
But it literally, it's something that I'm apologizing to anyone who ever has to deal with it, because like even me talking about it right now, I'm speaking it into existence for myself.
Yeah.
So, the last putt I hit, I kind of yipped. So kill myself.
Oh yeah, don't do that to yourself, Sam. That's bad news. But I don't know what like like when I have like bad putting days, and I mean I've had an issue with the putter this year. But to me, it's like it's all like fundamental shit. I don't look at it from like, to me, it's not like yippee. It's not like holy hell. Like I'm not like fearing. Like there's been times like fuck, like
you just missed it.
Yeah,
you pulled it. You pushed it.
Yeah, I pulled it. To me, and I figured out a little something. I actually played on Sunday, and figured out something like actually if I stand straighter up and get my hands closer to my body, like I roll the ball better that way. And I actually kind of hopefully figured out this putting thing for me this year. But for her, like I would like if I was her, I would take that glove off. I would start doing something like that you've never done before. Like but the crazy thing is she putts pretty well from outside of 10 feet.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things that like you almost want to do something that distracts you from thinking that you have to hit the putt. And I'm not saying like think about something like else, but like I was one time told wiggle your toes as you're putting, because then you're like more concerned about wiggling your toes instead of like you're not thinking about the putting stroke and thinking about how you don't yip this. Like anything you can do to get your mind off of basically the thought of shit, this has to go in type thing. And so I don't know. I mean, it's hard to watch. It's like Will Zalatoris-esque, but like Will at least makes the freaking putts.
Right.
And it was just interesting. But either way, like the golf course was awesome to watch.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's a cool event. It'll be interesting if the men do get to go back there. I think like they have a Ryder Cup scheduled in like 2040 or something like that. But we'll see how that goes. It's a cool course. Women's majors fun. Gee Chun wins her third major, which I didn't even know she had one.
Yeah. And it sucks for her because the storyline's more about Lexi Thompson, and that's how.
And that's what it's going to be, American media.
Yeah, and that's LPGA market. That's kind of like their biggest star essentially on tour.